But then you can think about how are we all emanating light, right? Besides just the sun doing it, so we're all doing it, right? What are we thinking? What are we vibrating at? What is everyone collectively wanting? And then how we're being pulled to each other to create what everyone's wanting, right?
Yeah.
It's all that.
This like right here, right now is what it's all about, is just beaming this light and just talking about like, I had a client, she's a personal trainer, and she came to me and we're talking this shop.
Yeah.
I'm talking business with her, how to get her business from here to there. And I'm talking to her about this stuff and how to like, you know, it's beyond the hard work. You got to start, you know, really just having that faith and that knowing that what you're creating is there already. And you got to give gratitude for it and put this process into play. And I'm like, I'm giving stories with my clients, giving her the proof of work by thinking this way and doing these things. It works. It works with their business. It works with their health. It works with their relationships. And so I'm giving stories and sharing stories about this with her. And she's like, how do I have conversations with people like this, like my clients? Because it's not normal. And I go, I'm proof of work that this is my business. I literally talk about this all the time with every single client in some way, shape, or form. So you can make a business out of this. Something you talked about the 3D, 4D, to just kind of bring back an important point here that we're getting to with the being the leader with yourself. Down there in Costa Rica, Guillermo called it 5D, right? And we get this concept of 3D. Okay, so space, width, height, you know, all those things, those three dimensions. Then you get in the fourth dimension, which is past, present, future, time, right? And then the fifth dimension, I'm thinking to myself as you said that, I'm like, what is 5D? And I got it when I was in the jungle. And I was out there by myself and just immersed around nature in this three-dimensional space, right? Completely neutralized by time. Time didn't exist. And when you ascend to that, now you're at the spiritual level. And that fifth dimension is where you're at spiritual level, where you can embody this physical body, but be beyond it.
Yes. Are just spirit. Anyways,
Yeah, you're far beyond that.
Human body, right? So our spirit is what matters. What are we embodying? Why it's the matrix code? What's our code?
And this is all, like, to your point with court, it's all a fucking game. Like, this is just a big cosmic game. It's not.
And we're all contributing to it. If you think about it, everyone in that courtroom's contributing to their view of what this game is.
Yes. They're playing their part that they most likely signed up for.
And they take it so serious. Like, you know, when like you crack up with somebody because they're taking their stuff so seriously and you're just like laughing because it's like,
thinking, what happened? They woke up on the wrong side.
Yeah. And you're just laughing your ass off, having fun, right? And it's like, if you can ascend to that level and just enjoy even the harshest of things and still like be able to see the truth, which
it's becoming the observer of your life.
Yeah.
And you know, like enjoying this, like you said, the 3D, like, oh, I like that I have this table and like it's great and I have this cup and all that stuff. It's like you can enjoy all those things. Now learn that time and space are told. If you want to think about the 4D, a good way to think about it, or at least for me, is like, if you look at your timeline of your life, like, yeah, you feel like you're getting older and you're learning more, but honestly, like, if you pull up a memory, does it matter that memory was 10 years ago or if it was 2 minutes ago? That you're still, when you're thinking about that memory, you're living in that time and space.
Right.
And there is no time and space.
Bringing it back.
So this whole concept of aging, right? We're entering a new space where you can go really weird and go, okay, can you reverse aging? Because we have this societal construct that, okay, year by year by year by year, day by day by day, you're getting older, cells are dying, you're not able to rejuvenate as fast. And so now you start to recover.
Pause there for 1 second. We have none of the same cells except for our heart 7 years later. So we've completely rejuvenated.
To even take that even further, we're changing frames billions of times a second. Like when you want to break this down, where it's like, there is no
Stop looking at age as let's celebrate my age and keep thinking about it.
But like
I believe these meat suits were supposed to be with us for at least 900 years, and we've just figured out like we've just reduced our timeline.
We've
so
limited
much.
ourselves because we've had this belief instilled in us where it's like, okay, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
This is the norm. This is what's
and
going
look at all the healthcare system and the schooling system and everything that we surround ourselves with is all linear and all like this is how you're going to do things. And yeah, you're going to get old. And when you turn 75, you're getting dementia or whatever because you eat bad and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, now what are we telling ourselves?
So where do we go in the constructs? Because I go, okay, I love them and I vibe with this. And it's like, okay, we got the laws of gravity, for instance, right? We can't explain. We just know it's there. We got a figure for it, but they really can't explain it because it's like interdimensional.
Yep.
It's like it's the weakest force of all the forces you can measure, I believe. String theory goes into all that stuff.
Now you're getting to physics.
But beyond,
It's all physics.
but it's beyond physics, right? That's where quantum physics goes into. It's far beyond that stuff, and that's
I love it. I'm the one who you open up my Google and it's like all talking about quantum physics and all this stuff because to me it's like the
giving a voice to spirituality in a way that people can digest and accept it now because
in a scientific way
because now
we love science.
Yes, yeah, and science becomes religion and then it debunks itself and then it just continues to change. And somebody was saying, forget who it was, but they were talking about like the speed of light was the fastest thing known to man or in the universe, right? But then what happens to a black hole? A black hole, it can't outrun a black hole, the gravitational force of a black hole. So it's not the fastest thing or the most powerful thing out there.
Well, oh gosh, we can't even get into this, but I believe that the sun is a black hole.
I'll go further with this. All right, so I do sun gazing every day.
Yeah.
And I'll spend as much time staring at the sun directly as much as I can. So it turns black. It turns black.
And you can see
the aura.
And you can see the energy going into it. It's being sucked in.
Energy beings. We're light beings.
Yeah.
We're the speed of light.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. What are we embodying? What are we thinking? What are we thinking can happen as quickly as that? Right. So we're light beings.
So you break down you break down human,
Right.
Yeah.
human being hue being light, man being matter.
Told all this.
Yeah, it's all out there.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Well, I told a friend of mine, I spent the whole weekend with her. She's amazing. And I wish she would come on this podcast, but I know she can't just for work reasons. But she said, do not tell me good morning anymore. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, am I pissing you off? And she's like, it means good. And then morn.
Yeah.
I'm not mourning. I'm happy rising.
Yeah.
She's
there
like,
you go.
happy rising. And I'm like, I'm totally like, okay,
there's
happy
little
rising.
tweaks. Yeah, that we've been programmed with.
Because I don't like the whole good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, when you tell this to
I like happy. I mean, it's cool.
if you can look at your life and say everything is grand and everything is awesome, and you hear these words of somebody, like I'll talk to people about this and they're like, yeah, whatever, like it's not a big deal, but you were just complaining. Then I'll think in my mind, you were just complaining about your job or some type of relationship or somebody triggered you. You were annoyed by somebody outside of yourself. You're giving up your power. Yet these words that we say on a daily basis don't matter. And it's like these little things do make a difference. Like literally, if you want to take it to the context of science, the Dr. Emoto, who did the waters structure, you say a bad word to water, it turns into a dysfunctional structure. You say love to water and it's a beautiful geometrical structure.
I mean, even
energy.
And even feel it. Like when I say hate,
Yeah.
you know, like you can feel it. You can feel it here. When I say love, like it makes me smile and like it gives me like it is the words.
And a lot of these things are so unconscious. Good morning. Like that is just.
We think it doesn't affect why everyone's doing what they're doing because they think they can rap about something and it doesn't affect them.
Yes.
It does.
And why do we hate mornings? We're all mourning.
I know.
So true.
Right. We love it.
I love mornings, but I love the beginning of the day.
Probably.
I love sunrise. So you asked like, what do you think the sun is and everything? And I got this download from Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So when I had my baptism in that water pool, so I had this magnificent experience, spiritual awakening, just so profound. And I'm staring up at the sun. It's about noon directly up above me, and I'm able to connect with it and stare at it. And fast forward a day later, I'm heading home, or 2 days later, and I'm getting this download, and this content fell into my lap, and I started digging into it, and it was from Jordan Maxwell. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but
A little.
he's one who he's the one breaking down the meanings of words, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And maritime law, and how a lot of the law is like structured for things that are happening out at sea where there is no law. And it's like this whole weird construct, the United States is a corporation, not a country, all this stuff. But he goes into religion, and he talks about how all of the major religions are all about sun worshiping. And I've got 2 Egyptian papyrus mounted in my room. And when I first moved into my room, I had this one particular one that has a sun with arms extending from the sun, and you have a goddess, and then like a person, and then like a servant. And so it's like a big person putting their hands out, receiving the rays from the sun, and then the other people receiving the rays from the sun as well. And I was like, just found that to be a very interesting depiction. And when I woke up the first morning in this house, when I put up the picture, I didn't do this like intentionally. The rays from the sun beamed through my window, and it outlined the frame of that picture. Wow. And I was like, it couldn't have been more perfect, lined up right there.
Yeah.
And I found that interesting. Fast forward to now, coming back home and listening to this idea of how religions are about sun worshiping. And I always dug into ancient history with how they always worship the sun. They always had some connection, and it makes sense. What's the one thing that we cannot survive without? Air, but water, but the sun. It literally creates the plants, which then we eat, and also the animals that we eat that eat the plants. Nothing exists without the sun. So it makes sense to live our lives and revolve around the sun. And then what are we finding out about health now? Artificial light causing so many issues, not getting enough sun, all these things. And so he's going into this explanation of like showing these depictions of ancient culture and how they have, this is on the caves into ancient Egypt to the Mayan, how they have these depictions of these hands spreading outward, or outward like this, or outward in front of you. Yeah. And it's depicting worshiping of the sun, catching the rays of the sun and spending that time to really appreciate. And so the Son of God is actually S-U-N, not S-O-N. And this idea of the cross is actually the sun going over a certain constellation that is a cross at a certain time, which has to do with...
Yeah, because it's the equinox.
Yes, exactly. So when it crosses over that equinox, that's the time where it stays still for 3 days, and then it rises back up. It comes back from the dead. And I found that like that made the most sense out of anything I've ever heard in my life, out of any type of scripture. Yes, it's beautiful. There's great stories, whether it happened or didn't happen. I'm not here to decipher, but there's something to take away from those things. But at the end of it all, it's like this beam of light that is information that is giving you, when you stare at it, you get downloads and it opens you up.
See I mean, I don't want to get too much into this, but you can see the matter coming from the sun. Like you can see the energy and how that matter, if you really stare at it, you can see how you can create from the sun's energy. And I can see the matter. Like I can see how you can take the little molecules and like push them together.
But then you can think about, how are we all emanating light, right? Besides us, the sun doing it, so we're all doing it, right? What are we thinking? What are we vibrating at? What is everyone collectively wanting? And then how we're being pulled to each other to create what everyone's wanting, right?
Yeah.
It's all that.
this like right here, right now is what it's all about, is just beaming this light and just talking about, like, I had a client, she's a personal trainer, and she came to me and we're talking this shop.
Yeah.
I'm talking business with her, how to get her business from here to there. And I'm talking to her about this stuff and how to, like, you know, it's beyond the hard work. You got to start, you know, really just having that faith and that knowing that what you're creating is there already, and you got to give gratitude for it and put this process into play. And I'm like, I'm giving stories with my clients, giving her the proof of work by thinking this way and doing these things. It works. It works with their business. It works with their health. It works with their relationships. And so I'm giving stories and sharing stories about this with her. And she's like, how do I have conversations with people like this, like my clients? Because it's not normal. And I go, I'm proof of work that this is my business. I literally talk about this all the time with every single client in some way, shape, or form. So you can make a business out of this.
Well, and the other thing is, I do believe that and maybe it's because my consciousness is getting higher or whatever, but I do believe that you start to just attract people who will naturally talk about that.
That's the shifting of timelines and the reality.
And so my friend that we were talking about over the weekend about this is that she goes, don't you have a lot of people in your life that you can talk about this kind of stuff with? And I'm like, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Because I was so closed off for so long, because I was so stuck in the business, the life, the kids, the school that wasn't even true, like all this mind fuck that I had to get through.
Quicksand. Like trying to get out of there is like, holy.
And all of a sudden, like as you're starting to get out of it, you're realizing like all these people are falling off from my life.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know if I have people in my life that are true friends because I haven't known them forever. But it's like, okay, when you, like, I feel like I've known you guys forever.
Yeah.
You know, so like, okay, yeah, you would. If I was stuck on the side of the road, I don't need to call my drunken friend from 10 years ago. I could call Michelle or, you know, that she'll come and get me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, so you have to get out of the muck of your brain.
You do. You gotta be willing to surrender and let go of these beliefs, because letting go of that control, holy shit. Like that's scary for people, especially if you've gained success in the third dimension through control.
Yes.
That's the competitive plane. That's the competitive plane. So now you start going into creative plane. The best example I can think of somebody who's in the creative plane, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He competed so freaking hard, but it wasn't with anybody else. It was with himself. And through that was creativity. It's a paradox.
It is. And that's who you're competing with.
You are competing with yourself. Well, and that's when, that's when true enlightenment happens, in my opinion, is like if you can look at yourself as a mirror and you're then reflecting,
it's no longer,
like you and me are just here. Like I'm having a conversation with myself, and anything that makes me feel uncomfortable about what you say is something in myself that I have not dealt with.
And it gets so much easier when you're just like, okay, it has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with me. How do I fix that and just let it go?
Yeah. Right. I mean, we
figure it out and then let it go.
I had a business discussion with a group that I'm advising the other day, and we had the founder has issues, and every time he's mad, it's just about you and what you're mad with something else that's inside of you that you have not dealt with.
Are you is he able to digest that, or how are you translate? Because this is doses, right? Like some people, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
You can't. So like actually, I had to get off the call, and I like literally went in and internally and said, what am I going to do here? And is this something that I need to walk away from because he's not ready to, you know?
And that's where I think of the power of envisioning yourself helping him.
Yes.
Right?
Instead of just walking away.
Right. Instead of walking away, and like how the reflection, instead of judging, then you reflect, and then you solve the problem, right? Whatever I need to change, I can change instantly, and then my relationship with that person changes.
Well, and I had to look at him and say, what are his strengths? And what did I see in him in the beginning to say, okay, I would do this. Like I'd be your advisor. I'd sit here.
Starts to flip it, doesn't it?
There was a reason.
Yeah, there was a reason. And so like you're saying, I was freaking frustrated as hell. But then I had to think this was me 10 years ago or whatever. Like, I wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now you can look at it from the outside, appreciate where they're at, and help.
Heal yourself.
Yes, that's the
Heal your
that's
inner
it.
self to help him heal.
Yeah.
So everything, this concept of like altruism and not being selfish, I think is bullshit. We're selfish. Everything is everything's selfish. The ultimate selfishness
We
is
should be.
being your true authentic self.
You know, they think it sounds good, but
So
it's not.
it's-
You're helping others by
it's-
taking care of yourself.
Yes.
This is a Tim Groverism, a trainer for Michael Jordan, who said selfish to be selfless. And Jordan got depicted as this animal, this bad man, or this hard ass because he wanted to win. He did it by any means necessary. Obviously, he demanded more of himself than anybody else around him, and therefore he demanded the most out of his teammates.
Right.
And if they weren't willing to do that, get off the court. Right. And so he would demand that of his team, and his expectations were so high. But this idea of selfishness is not a bad thing, right? It's like there's different forms of selfishness though. So it's like there's a self-centered, like I'm going to cut you off in traffic just to get ahead, disregard your safety and all these things. Like that's a self-centeredness, right?
That's not selfish. I mean, it is more self-centered, egotistic.
That's
kind of
what I mean.
behavior.
So there's like I did something to get a benefit. I don't care about anybody else, right? Irregardless of how it affects you. Then there's the like, I'm going to help you to feel good, right? There's a charitable selfishness, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. Then there's
But
the other.
that could be selfish in its of itself.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's all selfish. Like charity is so that's like a selfish to be selfless. And then there's another one where this is a sneaky one, where it's like I'm going to be selfish and not do something because if I do the thing you're asking me to do that I don't want to do, let me put it this way. You're asking me to go out for lunch.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out to lunch, but I'm worried about what you think of me if I don't go out to lunch with you. So then I'm going to go out to lunch and then I'm like, why the fuck am I here at lunch, right?
Energy's low,
And so I'm beating myself up. So I sacrifice my own well-being
To try to make me happy.
to make you happy, but in order to look good in front of you. So it's actually a selfish,
The need.
it's a selfishness,
Yes.
right?
Okay,
So
totally
I
see
want to
that.
look good to you.
Right.
So I'm going to sacrifice my own well-being to look good for you. So that's the people-pleasing effect.
Yeah.
Then there's the ultimate selfishness, which is just true authenticity of just being. The sun doesn't shade itself from bad people, from people who don't praise it, who don't give it time or space, who shut its windows or stay inside. It doesn't shut its rays down from anybody. You can access it no matter who or what you are.
Yeah.
The tree gives shade to anybody and anything. It's just being a tree, right? So being your authentic self of who you are is the ultimate act of giving. The left hand doesn't know what it's giving to the right.
There's and to be selfish, you have to receive. And so the sun always gives its rays, but this is why I think it's a black hole. There's some energy driving that black, that matter that it's taking from. There's always a place, even if you're the sun, that you're getting your energy from. And you have to receive that to be able to give to somebody else. And when you're giving so much, say I'm the sun, I'm giving you all of my light, I have to be getting something in return. Otherwise that light will diminish. It won't be there forever. Just like our bodies. That's why our bodies die off so fast. We're giving, and we're not taking in,
Pay attention to why you're giving and what's the personality that you're making of yourself.
Yes.
If I keep giving and I don't stop and I don't learn the lesson to not give if I have a limit, then I have to learn the lesson, right? And if I'm going to stop, I got to stop and take care of myself.
It's the lesson, like you're saying, to become selfish.
Right. Or is my persona the martyr that can say, I gave so much and they don't appreciate it? Is that the person you want to embody? No. So you stop doing it. You got to learn to take care of yourself and set the limits.
And to your point, each one of those 4 selfishness that you just went through it's all part of the learning. It's like you have to have all 4 of those things at some point in your life.
You had to experience them to then go, oh, this is what I prefer being. This is the level of consciousness or the frame
and
or
I'm
the
just
channel
gonna
that I want to be on. And
The role of a martyr or someone that gives too much is still selfish.
Yes.
Then you get to say, I give too much and no one appreciates it.
yeah,
So you're being selfish by saying I do this when you can just stop doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Like me or whatever.
Well, and it's like the 3D plane, right, of control.
Yeah.
You want to be, and part of that giving too much is you wanting to control everything.
Yeah.
So it's like just a vicious cycle.
yeah, it's profound stuff. So there's this whole, like, back to the wolf pack thing, keeping everybody in check. I think on the creative plane, like, defining it more is exactly what this conversation is going around with. It's like a round table discussion of sharing, identity, perspective. You know, there's different perspectives here. Sun is a black hole. It's a portal. It's a whatever you want to call it, but it's a source of energy or whatever you want to describe it as. It's like, that is the process. There's infinite perspectives.
Yeah.
And to, like, just, it's such a profound thing to be curious and to understand everybody's perspective, and like your client here that you're going through and just going, okay, instead of getting all triggered by him,
Yeah.
you start to sit back and try to understand.
Yep.
And when you try to understand them, this is the same thing for parents and a child. Like, the children are there frustrated and acting out. You were acting out because you weren't being understood.
Mm-hmm.
I acted out as a child too because I wasn't understood.
Right.
And so the devil will come out when you try to control the child.
100%.
And it's like, when you just understand them, they naturally just want to fall into their own space and their place, their nature. And of course they're going to do stuff.
Right.
I
mean, I'll give an example. This is a good example. So we had the first day of school on Tuesday. I gave both my kids both had the option to go to homeschool. My little one decided he wanted to go to school. So we had the first day of school. I got him his first day of school outfit. He would not try on. He tried on the shorts. He wouldn't try on the shirt. I said, "Is this shirt okay?" Yeah. Okay. So I'm divorced. So my kid was with his dad that morning, and I come over to take pictures and stuff, and he is freaking out about the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't like it. It's too long. It doesn't fit. Blah, 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 blah. My ex-husband was like, put the fucking shirt on and go to school. Like, you're a kid. You need to do what you're told. And here's me. I don't like to control anything. And I'm just like, well, what shirt would you like to wear? You know, because it's understanding the kid. And I'm not trying to say, there's times and places with your kids that you have to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you don't put boundaries on the kids, but a shirt is not something that I'm going to go to, like, have him have a really terrible first day and try to control what shirt he has on. And my ex was so mad at me because he should have just put that fucking shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the control thing. You don't control the kids. Like, it's one thing that he can make that decision for himself. Let him feel safe in the shirt he's going to. All right, fine. You probably needed to try the damn shirt on, and it would have caused us all a lot of, like, saved us 20 minutes of time and a lot less anger and frustration.
Yeah.
But to your point, don't control the kids to the detriment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what his idea of his first day of sixth grade was going to be. And that's what his memory is going to be.
And what needs to happen then, and from that point, is going, okay, as a parent, what environment, situations did you set up to create this misunderstanding,
right,
in a sense, right? So it's like, for a 6-month-old, this is easy to just go, all right, got to understand the child and start doing this. So you didn't program for 6 years, all this crap that we unconsciously programmed into our children, because we were 12-year-old children raising children, right? Unconscious, unaware. Now we're dealing with it when they become conscious, and now they got a mind of their own, and they don't know.
It's actually your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
You've actually programmed all their shit into them.
Now we're frustrated because they're not doing the things we want them to do.
And their teachers and their friends or whoever else and their grandparents.
You wonder why kids are, like, being extreme reactions, even as adults. Extreme. It's like, why? What's going on in your mind? Like, why is this shirt a big deal? What you're wearing a big deal? What
Yeah,
is a big deal?
For some reason, I can boil it down just from my background. For some reason, it's a feeling of not feeling safe.
Mhm.
And so everything that they're doing when they're getting super angry, they feel like somebody's attacking them and they're not feeling safe. So if you're not safe in that shirt, then take the shirt off and get into something that's going to make you feel safe. Okay.
There's also something like the safe aspect. Like I dated this girl and she was hypersensitive to clothing.
Yeah.
Like just if she put on anything synthetic, it was like she would drain, her energy would be drained. And so there's a frequency to this clothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that because children, this next generation of children coming in they're hypersensitive to things that we weren't sensitive to, gluten intolerance or celiacs or all these food, these
And you actually wonder they're more pure. They're this next group.
Yeah.
So this next generation of children they're more pure.
Mm-hmm.
And so you then think about all these food allergies and things like that. It might not be the actual item. Like let's say my older son, he's got shellfish. We don't really know. They think it's the protein but is it some kind of toxin that's coming from the shellfish that was in our water that they're super hypersensitive to? And so their body's saying, don't put that shit in me.
Yeah. There's so many intricacies to pull from that, environmental toxins on top of the light toxicity to the lack of expression. And then we got people working more than ever, and now they're dishing off their parenting to other people, and they're indoctrinated into this system that they're not being raised in, with their parents. So there's a whole disconnect of things going on.
Well,
they're absorbing that.
Yes. And I do beat myself up a little bit in terms of, I wish I would have known now, like back then, what I know now with my kids. I would have put them in different schooling situations and done different things. And it is what it is. But I do believe that in our society, in all aspects, in most of the world, besides like most industrialized places in the world, we have a parenting problem.
Yeah.
Because we are dishing off our responsibilities to institutions, and we're giving them the power of raising our children. And we're supposed to be here to raise our children so that they can see what their magic is and what their power is. And we're turning that all off. Yeah. I mean, we're putting in the United States, I think there's a lot of other countries that do much better. We're putting 6-week-olds in a daycare so that the women can go back to work.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm happy that I was able to work and have a career and all of that. But I actually think the biggest disservice that we've done to our society is putting women to work.
Yeah, it's in the masculine sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're coming into a world that is highly masculine, highly dog eat dog, competitive.
Yeah.
It takes you out of your feminine.
Yeah.
It creates polarity between the men and women now, and then there's this I don't need you and I can't be enough.
To go to work and then come home, cook, clean too.
Well, I mean, it's all of that, but it's also like what you're talking about with the polarity, and you would know more about this than I do, but women work on a 28-day cycle. We work on the moon and the sun
there's
cycle.
Like to expect you to work 30 days straight.
The same energy as
Yeah.
the man that
No. And I always
has the same energy.
I always wondered, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? There's 2 weeks that I just want to like contract,
You're
go in and
relax.
Women are also, I mean, in that masculine sense, you are like your nature is emotional. It's like the ocean. It's meant to flow and crash and go all over the place and swell in the natural way. But when you're forced to cap it like a child who's being controlled, you want to see the devil come out. It's like suppress your emotions and not express yourself, and then not be heard, right? And like not be seen. And those things, it creates a disconnect. Now the men aren't being heard and seen. And it's like now there's this like me type of thing.
Like the toxic masculinity or whatever, like come on.
it's just
That's just
toxicity. It's
stupid.
just like the masculine and feminine is not toxic.
Yes.
Right. It's the toxicity. Just that in and of itself is just the criteria is like
It's
this egotism or this me, or this self-centeredness of like, I'm in pain, I'm not getting enough, or it's all, I'm a victim of these things. That's the toxicity.
Yeah.
Then you apply a feminine face to it or a masculine face to it. Now it's toxic femininity or toxic masculinity.
Yep.
And you can take the egotistical side of anything, spirituality, masculine, feminine energy. You can dilute it down to, or diminish it down to a third dimension where now you're looking at a man or woman and going, you're toxic.
Yeah.
So that's toxic masculinity or toxic femininity.
It goes back to what we were talking about, the good or the bad.
Yeah.
So we're really good at saying this is good and this is bad and putting a belief system or a frame around it. Instead of saying, opening up your frame and saying, why do I think this is good and why do I think this is bad? Just as like it's going back to your trial situation. I can put a frame around, I think this person's bad and they need to be in jail for the rest of their life just because of what somebody told me or said they did.
Just because they've been accused and no one knows how close they are to being accused of something.
And what about
being in that same situation?
What about opening up our frame of mind and realizing that there's always two sides of each story and neither side is good or bad?
Yeah.
And maybe that there's a place where we're meant to meet in the middle and be non-judgmental and just feel and understand what's going on.
Yeah, and be open to that. And that's the whole point of the system, but it doesn't operate that way.
No.
Because no one comes in there that way.
Well,
They
and it
don't even
turned
want
in,
to be there.
I also do believe like this happens. It also, but think about this. It happens in a corporation too, right? So like people come into it, they're like all gung-ho about it. And then like half your employees end up being like super pissed off. They're super not engaged because it's always this good and bad. Like you either have somebody who thinks this is a great company or you think that's a shitty company, and you want at least 50% of your people thinking it's good, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with anything that we're doing. It gets corrupt after a while.
Yeah, it does.
So you get the corporation, they have a good vision and mission that they're out to do. You just like our jail system and our legal system. It was built on okay, I'm sure we might get a lot of comments about this, but it was built on, in general, goodwill, like fair trials, giving people the ability to go and not just be thrown in jail because somebody saw them do something or said
doing it that way is the problem. They just say, "Oh, if he's accused, of course he
it's
did."
going back to like it's actually being put back into the whole reason why we had originally put this. So we're almost going back to that witch hunt days.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, very good point.
Because of what
History
are people
repeats itself.
embodying, right? What is the judge embodying? What's the prosecutor embodying? What are the private defense attorneys embodying in themselves when they decide to represent someone and they don't? What is a public defender embodying when they do the same thing?
And how do you, it goes back, I mean, whether you're talking about how they embody and in their roles, it's whether you're in a court system, you're in a corporation. It's like why recruiting, in my opinion, is so broke, because you can't tell how they're going to act and what they're going to embody in that role, whatever role they're playing, until they get into it. And then it actually, like you're saying, it really it's affected all by the type of people that they're around and the energy. And so if I'm a high performer in one company or in one trial, I might win 90% of those cases and do really well. But you put me with somebody who's sucking the life energy out of me, or I move to a different company and that culture is just like really bad, that high performer is not going to do well.
No.
They can't, no matter how good they are, because they're not getting re-energized by the people around them.
Right. So that's why we have to have the wisdom to know who we're around, what we're doing, and how to wait.
Mm-hmm.
There's this, you pull it from so many different directions of why it is like this. And you go into, okay, there's always this need for more. The financial system, you always have to have more because it always is diluting. You just sit on it and rest on it, you're going to lose it. So you have to keep doing something, keep growing, keep building, keep
That's
moving.
what we're told, right?
And it's like
That's what we're
that,
told we have to do.
but it's
So
all
we do it.
it's all an illusion, right? So the money in the construct of dollars is complete. It's a complete illusion, and it's just based on this system that we are told this is what you have to do. And now we're starting to get into the early stages of people coming up with systems to create more wealth through cryptocurrency and all this stuff. So
and through your energy,
Yeah.
we just made up
energy.
I just listened to a podcast about this. We just made up our currency.
Yeah.
Even cryptocurrency is
it's
made
still
up.
the same thing. It's still the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit better, but it's still made up. And like the only real currency we have is our energy.
That's it. And
And so how you move your energy is really important. So, that's why actually this would be really interesting in I'd be interested in hearing what you think about this. But so you never want stagnant energy, right?
Yeah.
And so if you think about your money, you don't ever want to put it into a bank account that is doing nothing because you don't want stagnant energy.
And what do most people do? That's what you do. And you're just benefiting the bank that gets to loan it out and make more money on it. Or what are we all doing with 401ks, IRAs?
And we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
We're actually, they said on this podcast that it was, and I'll put it in the show notes because I don't remember who it was on there, but that she said like some people do really well with their 401ks because they could have like really bad energy, but they're outsourcing their money to somebody else to manage it and move it. And so then that actually works out for them. But if you have like really good energy, you shouldn't outsource your money to somebody else. Like move your own money around and use your energy to guide you.
Double it faster than that other guy.
And she's like, and what I did to become a millionaire or billionaire, she was very wealthy, is not going to work for you because you don't have the same energy as me. So if you go try to replicate this and in the time and space that you're in is totally different.
Yeah.
So
why I keep saying intention, right? You set the intention. I want to make double on this money. How do I do it? Set the intention, figure it out. It all comes.
And move your energy around.
Yeah. And it just comes. The opportunities come. The people that will tell you how will come. But if we're all in the lack mindset, we're not going to think, no, we have to put it in the account. That's what we're told. We have to put in a 401k. That's what we're told. And we have to deal with what's left at the end. And if we have to pay a lot of taxes on it when it comes out.
So this is something that I think we all relate to, and this is something that will break your paradigms, I'm sure, like working with this woman who's just at that level where it's like, you got to think differently. You're in a different reality, different perspective.
Yeah.
How is somebody, I think I learned this from Tim Ferriss, which brought me to my mentors in strength coaching, who's doing something completely different and getting extraordinary results. Right? So in essence, I have money, I'm putting it into a 401k, traditional, making 10%, 8%, doing that, if that, right? And just set that up and work hard and, do those things for 40 years, right? Exactly.
And let me just hold the thought.
Yeah.
Your 401k is going to depend on who's managing it. So I moved my 401k to somebody to manage that I thought I could really trust, but his energy was super terrible. It lost a bunch of money and I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. And then we're not paying attention. If we're sending it somewhere else, we think, it's whatever's happening is because that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking,
are you going to outsource your wealth or are you going to outsource your health? Right.
No. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So that whole criteria, if you can look for those outliers, that I'm talking, Michael Jordan's an outlier.
Yeah.
What did he do? Start picking that apart. Like, look at those things. If you can mentor with these people, that it just blows your fucking mind when you get into the room with these people who are, 23 Olympic medalists. How did this guy produce that? You start going into, functional medicine, Eastern medicine. Okay, you're optimizing hormones through functional medicine.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, now you start going, it's like,
that's where, like, I don't want our listeners, this is why we created this, right? I don't want them to have to go through the timeline and that I went through.
That's what I'm saying.
that's the
I
point.
want
That's
to
the
give
portal.
Whole
That's the
online
portal.
School without walls. We categorize, and this is the people that will teach you the certain thing.
Yeah, and you don't have to go searching and reading 5,000
We
books.
have to
And
read
that's
so many
it's actually
books
the
together.
beauty. It's a beauty of what's going on with AI though too. It's like quicker answers, things that I used to have to Google and like search all the way down. As long as I really articulate what it is I'm looking for,
Yeah.
I can now get that information so much faster.
Yeah.
Like on a book, like the body keeps the score. I just chat GPT. What's that about? What's it talking about?
And you get the high level. Now you might not get every single thing, but you know what? When you read a book or you listen to
You're
the
only
audio
taking
book,
in-
you're only taking in like 10 or 5% of it anyways.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why people who read tons of books and never get over the wall of fear to actually take the action in those books have so much like useful
to be
knowledge when
ready
you
to
talk to
act.
them and you're sitting there thinking, okay, why aren't you doing what you're telling me you're doing? No, they're just taking in all this information, but they're not doing anything with it. It's the problem that's going to happen with AI. You take in all this information, it will shoot out all the fucking things you need to do, but you're not doing any of it.
But if people use it strategically to save on time, it can be amazing.
Yeah. But if you're asking it for all this information and you're saying, give me this list of all these things I need to do, and then you're not discerning what's going to work for you or not, and you're just taking it all in, you're going to get information overload and you'll be you'll be at the starting line of the race, but never jumping over it ever.
Yeah.
So we all have to be actors. We have to be moving. We have to be intentional about action.
Yeah. You got to be that person who you want to be. And that person takes action. That person is facing those fears and coming to terms with them and actually realizing that they're not as scary as they once were.
It's back to your Michael Jordan thing. It's like if you dissect what he's doing, whether you love Michael Jordan or hate Michael Jordan, he's not a saint. He's not an idol. He's a human.
He's a human being.
That took action every day to be the best he possibly could be and had the mindset he needed and surrounded himself with the people that were going to elevate him and elevate his game.
There's in The Last Dance, that Netflix documentary. Have you seen that? Oh, you got to watch that. It's phenomenal. I've probably watched it 10 times.
Really?
It's amazing. Like the mindset, how they pull everything together. It's well produced. It's an amazing art piece in and of itself, but it's a great story to follow. And in one of the episodes, this reporter who documented much of his career goes, Mike was a mystic.
Mm-hmm.
He was better than anybody at staying in the moment.
Yeah.
That's it.
The present.
The present moment, never being worried about a missed shot, never worried about the next shot, just always in the moment, always, always, always. And in the intensity of this guy, he was truly just being himself. He was this a crazy hard competitor and ruthless with it all. Everything's a competition for him, but for himself. That's the paradox there.
Yeah.
And it's his ability to be in the now is the most, like, you look at any mystic, any spiritual leader of our times or past, it's like their ability to be in the now is what allowed them to shine bright.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. And it's like sometimes people get mad, right? Like you're around a friend or family member and maybe they can't remember everything that you remember, right? But that's actually not a detriment. You should not get mad at them because they're living in the now. Yeah. You know, they're not thinking about what you guys did 10 years ago. Like, okay, you know, like, or like they're just happy that they're with you now in this present moment, make your new memories.
Right.
And who gives a shit if you remember it tomorrow or not? I mean, don't go out and get drunk and black out, but I mean, or you could.
I'll tell you, like intellectual people, some of the smartest people I know are some of the hardest to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's you know so much. There's this Bruce Lee story where this guy wanted to work with Bruce Lee. And so he's like, all right, come out to my dojo and I'll teach you everything. And so he works with him for a day, sits him down afterwards and goes, okay, saw everything you can do. Put 2 cups in front of him and the guy he wanted to learn, or the guy who he was teaching, and he's got a cup of water right here and then a glass of Coke in front of him in the other. And he goes, see, this cup with water represents everything that I know, everything that I am and everything that I know. And that cup, that glass over there with the Coke in it represents everything you know and everything you have. I can't give you anything that I have because your cup is already full. Until you're willing to dump that cup out and allow me to pour what I know into you, you're not going to learn any of this. And so we all have people like that, right? Where it's like, how open-minded are you? Because if you're not willing to go this deep, okay, I realize we're only going to go this far.
Right.
How much are you willing to unlearn?
Yeah.
Well, and you can think, yes, and you can actually think about it in a terms of where are you able to crack your frame of mind? And where are you able to challenge your belief system? Because if you look at your cup as your belief system, you have it all filled up there. You believe in all these things. What are you willing to just maybe say, I don't need to hang on to that belief system anymore and dump it out and then fill yourself up with something else?
Then there's that fear. What if I let that go? I'm not going to be the same person. Oh my God,
right.
I'm going to lose control.
Right?
Yeah. Then you go into,
I identify as a Catholic. I identify as a mother. I identify as all these things. And then all of a sudden, what does that really mean?
this question, I asked my son the other day, and I'll ask it from time to time, is who are you?
Yeah.
The deepest, most profound question you can ever ask and get clear with, because this gets you, when you get in touch and in tune with it, it's easy to say now that I'm not on my deathbed, but it gets you so comfortable with that ending to where you don't fear it, but you understand it more. You understand it's a transition, and that's the biggest fear for so many people, is the death of something or the loss of something or the nothingness of something.
Yeah.
And I used to say God individualized, and then I used, spirit, God individualized. And then I took it even a step deeper, and I kept on asking myself that question. And I go, who are you? And I go, nothing. Because out of nothing comes everything.
Yeah, because you're an ever evolving being, right? So you can choose to be whoever you want to be in that very moment.
So
it's like I don't remember the girl's name, and this is going to sound really bad, but on the Game of Thrones, what's the girl? Did you guys watch this movie?
Oh yeah, which one are you talking about?
You have to become nothing. The young girl.
Yeah,
you have to become nothing,
badass,
and the no face.
Yes,
she went to the no face whatever church or whatever they had there.
They were monks basically.
And that to me, it's like these shows and these things that we watch. They're pushing the very good directors are telling you how you have to act to really be able to understand life. And that in the Game of Thrones, there's a lot of messaging like that.
Mm-hmm.
That one really always stood out at me because you have to become nothing to rebuild yourself back up to become the warrior that that's inside of you.
Yeah.
And the word warrior is because we're all warriors fighting for our own purpose to come together as one.
Yeah. And that you get to a point where it's like, then you realize there's nothing to fight for because it just is. Like love and happiness is. You don't have to fight for it because that is the truth.
It's abundant.
It's
always there.
And this thing that I've been like playing with when I hear that, like a correction or an optimization of that word abundant, because the universe is abundant, period. It can be abundant in lack, right? Or it can be abundant in prosperity. So the term I prefer is prosperity because it's like, yeah, we're abundant, period. I could believe all I want that I'm not going to get what I want. You're very abundant in that belief.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Or you could be very prosperous in the prosperity is my right and my being.
Yeah. And wealthy.
Yeah.
Like I think wealthy is a good word, or blissful, I don't know.
And we all have our own language.
Like monetize it, because why I think it's really love.
Yeah.
It's a sense of not having lack, is having love, right? Why?
That's why I keep bringing this, because that's what this podcast is to me. To me, this podcast is love, and it's pushing that love out to whoever's going to listen to us. Help us learn how to love more, how to be more of ourselves. And when you're more of yourself, you're able to love more.
There was a recent download that I had too with love. Like, what is love? And it's something that can't be defined,
No.
It has to be experienced, right? But the clearest way I've ever heard love explained came from this book, Awareness. And it was, love is clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Love is without prejudice, without filter, without belief. It's just, that's faith.
Breaking
right?
your,
It's just without, it's the nothingness. That's love.
Mm-hmm.
It's without anything. There's nothing there. And it's complete bliss. And that's what scares people, is like the void, the darkness. Whoa, what's in there? Scary monster, whatever it is.
Well,
and it's actually the pure bliss that you're trying to experience.
It goes back to saying like, it's a safety thing. So that's why people move, you know, so it's like to really feel love is to feel safe in whatever circumstance you're in, whether you're on a death row trial or you're whatever. And it's then realizing that nothing that you have is going to give you any kind of love, whether it's another person, a car, a house, or whatever. That's why these billionaires aren't happy. They don't have love. They don't know what it is. And they're still searching, doing 100 million different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
What this woman that you were on a podcast with who reached that level of success, what was her like story in terms of where she's at now versus what got her there?
I was not with her. I was listening to a podcast. Yeah. I mean, her what got her there was basically becoming, it was literally what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Become nothing. Have no expectations. Like her family thought she was insane for leaving a job where she was getting bonuses that were 6 figures. And like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I sat there and I watched my boss doing the same thing over and over, talking about the same thing, living in his frame. She didn't say it exactly like this, but like living in your frame, living in your life, living in your belief system. And she said, I got chills and I said, no fucking way am I going to do this. And I figured a plan. And this is what I was telling you guys the other day. I figured out a plan on how in 10 years I could get out of there. So she was like 28 or something. And she wanted by the time she was 38 to be able to retire and go be nothing.
Yeah.
And
so
just enjoy.
Set the intention and go out in the world and let it just come, but you're acting.
She had action and she said that was her biggest misstep. And this is what the whole podcast was about, like how people set time frames around things. And she's like, I did it. Most people out there are doing it. Like in 2 years, I'm going to make this amount of money. Don't set those time frames. Just do the things you need to do to accomplish the goal that you have in front of you. And it will happen.
And it's so hard for people to think that could even work. They don't even think that's possible. They think they have to work 40, 50 hours or 50 years and then retire with what they have. They can't envision that. They can't say, oh, yeah, right, I can retire in 10 years. Yeah, right. That's what they say.
That's right.
So and if they shift.
And guess what? What I need, and this is very important, what I need to retire by the time I'm 50, let's say 5 years, I want to be done, right? Okay, whatever. If that's what I need something different than what you need in 5 years to retire or whatever. I know we're not supposed to put a timeline on it, but what do you need to retire to become nothing and feel free?
Yeah.
And that's a different answer for me. And it's a different answer for you.
People have different, whatever they embody about whether they even want to retire or how they want to retire.
Well, that's what she was talking about. That's the other thing she was talking about. Exactly. The podcast host said, hey, so like, how come you're still working? Like, cause she's doing all these things. She's on this bright talk, talking to people. She's a coach and all these things. And she said, well, I realized that the amount of money that I had saved was good. I have horses and all these, this horse ranch in San Diego and all these things, but I love to travel. And so I'll work as much as I need to, give you my energy so that I can travel and stay in a hotel. She goes, I love hotel rooms, really nice bougie hotel rooms. And I want the hotel room that is $1,000 a night. And I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to give you my energy so that I, in turn, can travel all over the place and stay in those $1,000 hotel rooms.
Visioning and wanting, this is what I want my life to look like. And I believe it's going to actually work out that way and I can make it happen. And I'm just going to do the steps to get me there.
So this where a lot of people get stuck is their nervous system is overloaded,
Yeah.
right?
So you
And
can't
so,
create from there.
so you don't even have the energy nor the receptor sites to be able to distinguish between what's the right move and what's the wrong move. So the alone time is so key. I just went on a family vacation for a memorial for my uncle, and my grandmother, wise, has lived many lives, 88 years old. The first thing she said, we went on the boat to the family lake, and she had her, eulogy or whatever she was sharing. The first thing she said is, family and alone time are the two most important things that you will hold on into this life, that you will carry into this life. Alone time was so emphasized on that. And I couldn't agree more, because that's what we're lacking so much, the alone time to be able to get clear with what nothing looks like, what that life looks like. And let me just finish this real quick, because if you get clear on the target, now you got an idea, you tune your nervous system, your heart, your soul to, okay, that's the reality that exists, that I know is there, that I have the faith and continue to step forward every single day with into. Now you tune your nervous system. This is how you get these hits, these breadcrumbs, these synchronicities, these holy shit, I can't believe that happened, or this opportunity just fell in my lap type opportunities, because they're always there. We just are so blocked in the nervous system that we got these blinders and all these things going on, this static, that we can't receive these opportunities. But if you get clear on that and get that alone time and take that time to be able to tune yourself and get clear with it, create the feeling and actually embody it, you'll recognize that feeling when you're walking down the street and have this idea.
And we're all too busy not doing that. So we're not creating and not believing that we can create this, because we're just doing. Always something on the weekend, always something on the phone. We're not even creating anymore in our mind.
Right.
That's the fifth dimensional thinking. That's the okay, so strength training is another example. I'll let you go after this, but it's like, okay, so you have this goal. You want to get to a size 2. You want to be able to get to a certain level, right? Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Planting those seeds.
You might want to just size might not matter. Maybe it's how you feel.
No.
It matters.
Put on the dress and it's a size 2. So, but it's like you're when you're taking action on the things is very important. And some of these things are quote unquote hard or not easy, right? It's against your nature. It's against your identity. That's where you have to be willing to surrender and go, okay, this is hard. Instead, how would somebody who at my size, 215, how would I think in terms of lifting? And how would I go about in that exercise? I would approach it constructively. I would approach it with gratitude. I would approach it with feeling the pain and the whatever you want to call it. Suffering with meaning equals growth, right? So if I put meaning to that suffering, now I'm grateful to go through this, and it's like it's justified. And yeah, it hurts, but man, it's so good because you know where it's leading you to. And you keep that goal in mind, you're going to bypass the pain and the self-talk and the excuses that push you out of the way and make it easy to fall back into that old identity, that old reality, that old place. And then you're beating yourself up. Now your self-worth is diminished. And now how are you going to act at work? How are you going to act in relationships? Now your self-worth is even more diminished. And it's like, I see this all the time when people work on their health, their wealth always increases.
And then wealth doesn't matter if you don't have your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be here to enjoy it, or healthy enough to enjoy the money.
That's right. And I got to take it back to your health is really important. And that's actually what I was writing down when you were talking. So if I go back to my own personal journey where I just was like beating every day, like I was taking shit tons of action. There was 2 things, right? Before I got sick with my company, and I was taking the wrong direction. Okay. Before that, I was on the right path. I was working out. I was super healthy. I had all this wealth and opportunity coming to me because I was in the best state of mind that I possibly could be. Yeah. Okay. Then I got out of that flow somehow. I think it was just too much. I wasn't asking for enough help. I was giving too much. My receptors were closed down, which is what you were talking about. And what I think that if you could speak to this a little bit, is how, if I had this time to sit down and I was able to be quiet and have all this time, right? But I was so screwed up from a medical standpoint because my hormones were so messed up. My cortisol was all effed up. My sleep was totally screwed up, and I was totally out of my flow. It took me a long time to get back, and I'm still struggling with this a little bit, where it's like turning back on those receptors to have the ability to create. What would you say people need to do outside of having that alone time what do they need to do with their health first?
I think it's you got to find something that is intriguing to you, right? And usually starts with nutrition.
Yeah.
I would say breath work is absolutely foundational, but I tried to do that with some people and it's like, I don't care. It's too, it frustrates them more actually, right? So physical work is, for some it's exercise, for all it should be exercise, but for some they're actually like, I want to get in the gym in a different setting, and I think that's awesome. Nutrition is the other aspect where this is where nutrition is so subconscious. It's like you eat the food and you don't necessarily realize how it impacts you until you start eating clean and detoxing from the processed foods, the sugars, the alcohol, all these processed foods, and you start eating clean. It will challenge you. It'll be uncomfortable in certain ways because it's so outside of their paradigm. And then you start to actually introduce some of those old foods back. It's like an old relationship coming back into your life. You're like, why was I ever with them? Right?
That's how I feel about alcohol.
Yeah. It's
like, as minute I take a few sips, I'm like, oh, like, ew, what was I doing?
Yeah. But
yeah, it's a horrible feeling. But I was thinking back to our conversation where you said there's 3 things to ask a person. I guess, where do you want to be? What's your goal? And do you think he can help you get there, right? And how quickly do you want to get there? Do you think you could get there quicker with him? And then do you have the funds to
do
pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 3 questions everyone has to ask themselves. And because like with me, it's like I was at the breaking point of 17 years trying to figure out how to get to where I wanted to go. And it wasn't getting the results that I wanted. So I find someone that knows what I don't know, and then hire them to help me get to a place where I can't get as quickly because I tried. I joined the gym. I did all that nonsense and I didn't know what to do in the gym. So it's like, if he's going to help me get there quicker, like I could help someone get somewhere quicker with what I do for a living.
Yes.
And then I have the funds to pay him.
Yeah. Why are
There's
you?
no problem, right? So why aren't people doing it, right? Because they don't want to they want to do the baby steps, and that's fine. Go do the baby steps, but don't expect to get to the results that I think everyone envisions.
You really got to to really
possible, right?
To truly transform, you got to do a 180. Like, it's not like a baby step here and there. Like, if you want to make drastic change, it doesn't mean you have to go all in and commit 4 days a week and do all this stuff. But it's like, it's
just how much do you want it, right?
Well, it's how much do you want it? Yeah. And it's how much do you want it and what's right for your body. So like somebody like me needs something a little bit different because my hormones are so messed up. You work with somebody.
This is the other thing that I think in the practitioner space and health space, this is the missing piece though, is like strength is the mother of all qualities. Your muscle is one of the most neglected organs in health. Right. And it is the most vital organ for vitality, for youthfulness, for testosterone, for blood sugar management, for detoxification. I put somebody recently on a what I consider a moderate protein diet, eat protein 20 to 30 grams 3 times a day. And she's like, this is so much. It's so heavy. It's so much. And I'm like, when you go from barely eating it to eating it, it's intense. It's so complex of a nutrient to break down. It's stressful on our body right now that we have to even dose the protein.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody's at their own stage. But what I'll say is proper strength training is mobility and flexibility and activating muscle. And so now you're connecting, and then you're connecting breath, and now you're connecting mind to body. And now if you can start to get confident in your body's movement, and now it's no longer hip pain, but now you're like, damn, I broke free from that. I can actually do something now. And then you feel it when you step up the stairs or sit down, and it's like, I feel better. That subconscious confidence that's instilled into it is so not talked about enough. where it's like, it's a missing piece. So when you were asking, like, what does somebody do when they start off? It's like, you need to move, you need to eat, you need to do these things. But yeah, you can start one step at a time, get your feet wet. But like
Jump
anything
in and
else,
just
but
do
like
it.
anything else that you've ever,
It's like, what are we
anything that
trying to
you've,
get?
like some people, like the big thing is like people don't want to be an athlete. I'm not an athlete. I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to get all this.
Get you to be healthy, right?
But it's like, the truth is that
Well, there's
when we get down to it, like we have churches, we have mosques, we have these magnificent buildings, we have amazing cars and vehicles and all these things. And like you said, Michelle, that if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? And none of that matters. But at the same time, we justify that it does matter. And I can quantify my worth and joy of life by having material possessions. But the truth is, we've lost touch with what the body truly is, which is the temple of God. It is the only temple of God. Nothing else. No church, no mosque, nothing else. We're completely neglecting it. And
the
it's,
thing is that we don't know because we don't talk to someone like him that knows what to tell us to eat. And we're going to see the transformation in the body when we eat the right ways, right?
and I mean,
well,
like,
it's
it literally
it's been
is.
so monetized, our health and our bodies.
We're pushed
that
food
we're-
we should
Well-
not be eating.
Right. And honest,
Eating is okay.
yeah.
So Costa Rica, we go out to the jungle and I'm out there by myself and it's waterfalls and rocks and all sorts of stuff. I'm by myself. So full disclosure, I stripped down buck naked. I'm by myself
Now
out
we
in the
have
sun.
a great. Thank
No, but it
you.
was just like, I was like, it was because it's like you're out in the open in the jungle, nobody's there, and you're climbing up,
For us.
and
Yeah,
I'm
it
climbing
is.
up and down.
And it's good to be naked. I like
It
to be
is.
naked.
Yes, but the point being is like complete carelessness.
Fucking naked. Sorry, this went
Oh my
like
God.
keep going.
Gave you that image, we're running with it now.
Fine.
But the point of it is that they call it the playground down there because truly I was just a kid, rock climbing, jumping in the water, getting pebbled by waterfalls and
Love
just
nature.
there's butterflies and birds all around. You got the sun beaming down on you and you're getting this injection of light that is energizing you in ways, and you're exposing areas that don't get any exposure to light that actually should get exposure to light, because the mitochondrial density in your genital area is more concentrated than any other part of your body. And so when it receives light, now you're increasing the mitochondrial activity.
Do something.
Yeah, but then I hear that they're like the most ugly people, so it's like the most unfit people, right?
But hey, they're happy.
But
They're
the,
happy.
this kind of goes back to, okay, so the most enlightened, the most peaceful people, let's just call it that, have no reason to explain themselves to anybody or apologize to anybody for anything of what they do or who they are.
Yeah.
Right? It's that ultimate, like, I'm being selfish authentically, and that will beam a light towards you to allow you to be authentic. And
It's so true. I mean, it's so true. It goes really, if you think about it from just a nude beach perspective. I know this is not where you wanted to go with it,
Yeah,
but
we're rolling.
it's very interesting because it's like, if you have a problem with me being naked on the beach, I'm not asking you to have sex with me or being some weirdo, right? Like I'm
that's
just
the other thing.
like I'm just enjoying my body on a beach and enjoying the sun being to places where you doesn't normally get. Notice what's in you that's so pissed off about that.
Yeah,
Like, just
exactly,
let
yeah.
that person be
Yeah.
on the
Point of this
beach.
is the freedom for everyone to be themselves and not be structured in, we have to do this on Christmas, we have to do that
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving, and we have to give our energy to everybody just because that's the system we're in.
It's so true.
And
And
then-
do you hear what you just said? I mean, really, listeners, listen to this. It's like we have these traditions on Christmas and people get pissed off, like, especially when divorce really screws this.
It does. It really
Okay.
does. Yes.
Everyone's filing for divorce around that time,
I'm
right?
38 dealing with
Well, not even that, but just your traditions. Like you, all of a sudden, your
Families
traditions are
dismantled.
like, and
And why they're filing for divorce around that time, because it all comes up. All this high stress of doing whatever and discussing what we're gonna do because we both got families and other
going to a
things.
million places.
Oh man, it all just comes up. So like this carelessness, this selfishness, like you bring up a point with the new beach, and it's like, okay, I'm just there to do my thing, and it's completely accepted. So there's areas of acceptance, we've over sexualized society. We've deprived ourselves, saying that, it's bad, or it's taboo, or it's like
How it's delivered.
it's how it's delivered, how it's been commoditized, and how it's been like neutralized in a sense with porn and all that.
Yeah.
Like it's just completely.
Well, and that's actually part of the problem with, I think, like,
Yeah, exactly.
I think too,
It's lost
like
its power.
women's bodies, right? So like you want to be in a size 2, like what made you think that? Everybody's like women's bodies are mostly supposed, and you might disagree with me on this, but I think we're supposed to be more a little bit voluptuous with like, because we are here to be with like the baby, like we have to have a baby and we create life and we need the energy.
Yeah.
And like we're maybe just think about it, like who told you that you need to be thin as a rail?
Yeah, that's
and
been
then guess what?
that's been the system.
And then guess what? You don't have your periods anymore because you're not getting the nutrients that you need, because the only way to get down to that size is to starve yourself.
Yeah.
So there's a certain, like I used to be like that. I was always for the whole, my whole life, I was in like a size 0 or 2, like always. And there was a point when I got up to like a size 6 and I was like, oh my God, like what's wrong? And then I would stop eating,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder why I have all these hormone problems. I messed with my body for my whole life, thinking that I was supposed to be a certain way.
So going back to your question of like what people should do, and it's multi-layered, right? So many things, but the overall aspect of things is like your nervous system just gets like oversensitized. Yeah, it really does. And so, the brain is the ultimate hormone gland, and it's this taking in so much information in our mind, right? We're paying attention. We think we're our mind. So all the thoughts that we're having, all the ruminating thoughts, the memories that we have, the emotions from those memories, the anxiety for the future, like all these things start to create a hormonal cascade in our body. And then our nervous system is in this sympathetic, reactive fight or flight stage so much. And then we go into these other stages like freeze and fawn.
Mm-hmm.
These other,
I don't know about that.
So there's, I believe, 5 reaction, like stress-induced reactions. Fight and flight are the very common ones, right?
Yep.
So anger, reactive, fight with force, those types of things. Then you have the flight, which is run away. Mm-hmm. But how we really actually observe it now that I see it is workaholics, always busy, on the go, have to do everything, So it's like the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. I'm late. I'm for a very important date. I gotta go, right? Always on that.
So next time I'm doing that, I'm going to just say I'm not Alice.
Yeah, exactly.
You're funny.
So then you get into the fawn phase, which is people pleasing.
Oh.
So it's like, it's putting up with shit that you shouldn't be dealing with, right? It's being overly nice. But it's a survival mechanism. Mm-hmm. We learn this as children.
You want everything to be nice, everyone to get along, everyone to be together. So I'll just put up with this nonsense.
So your nervous system is now trained.
If you actually learn that from your parents, because you want to please your parents.
Yeah.
Good girl. Good. Yeah. You're so great. Yes. Yeah. You're such a good kid.
They realize they're doing that to their kid, and they don't want their kid to be like that, but they're making them that way, and that's the way they act.
That's right. And then that's a good point for the listeners if you want to help your kids with that. It's like I always ask my kids are like, are you happy? Are you happy with what I did? And I said, I'm not answering that. Are you happy? Mm-hmm. And then they are like, that freedom, it gives them freedom.
Where?
Because I dealt with it. Like I had to learn, and I don't want them to have to learn everything that I had to go through. So I'm passing on as much as I can to them. So they have less to deal with.
This is the game, is like learning from our parents, and now we're learning, and then we teach them, and the generation after us gets better and better. So you got fawn as that people pleasing aspect, and then you have freeze, which is like just go numb. So no feeling whatsoever. Hard to decipher what's going on. You just get quiet, you get numb, you get very in solitude, you ghost, you just avoid things. Right?
Well, that was me.
And we all have
That's
them.
Me.
Like we have, I think, like an innate nature towards one or the other. And you can go into like attachment styles, like avoidant and anxious, right? Like the anxious, I think, is more of the fight, and the avoidant is more of the flight. Mm-hmm. And then the anxious is also more of, you could go into deeper rabbit holes with that. But
so what's the fifth one?
So the fifth one is flop. where your body just completely collapses. It shuts down, right?
Oh.
So it's like literally breakdown, like you go to the hospital type stuff is from what I understand. But the 4 ones that I see very common are the fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. And so when you can catch if you identify with those and understand those, now you're on a scale. You're not on the extreme of just, this is how I operate, this is what it is. You can identify that, oh, I operate in this way with these situations in a very consistent way.
Yeah.
So now you start to go, okay, those are not my nature. These are learned behaviors that my nervous system develops to survive. And I no longer am in that situation. So I need to pull myself out from here and be the observer, be the nothing, and observe that fight, flight, fawn, freeze, right?
Perspective.
Now you go, oh, I'm watching the channel of flight. I'm watching the channel of
But
freeze.
then stop being the observer and be the creator now, right?
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Start creating and to say, forget it, I'm not doing that anymore. Let's create.
You have to first observe,
Yeah.
and then you can create. And you're going to always flip between the two, because to continue to create, you're going to always have to come back out and observe, because otherwise you're going to get sucked in.
It's like the Michelangelo, right? Like chisel, 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 cut away, cut away, cut away.
Okay.
And then
step back.
and then step back, look at,
to keep creating.
and then go back to it and be in flow. Yeah, it's
You've created all your life.
I know.
You're always, you're going to can create. Now you get to just realize what you're doing and step back and do it even better and faster.
Right. That's my goal. Yeah.
You're doing it.
it was the what is it called when like you, all right, so God, G-O-D. And you break down each of those words, what they stand for. I heard this, I thought it was just spot on. Generator, operator, destroyer.
Oh yeah.
So we are all God. Generators, operators, destroyers. And destroyer, I talked that with somebody and she was like, that's a bad thing. I'm like, no, it's life.
See it that way, but it's
No. I mean,
creating and for that.
it's like Neville Goddard, right? He said that, like everybody, I am, all the I am statements. And he's, I think one of his books, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but it was like, people don't want to say I am God, but you have to, because you are.
Yeah.
And until you realize that, none of your I am statements are going to be true, because you are the creator and the destroyer.
That's what's so funny. It's in the Bible. It says something like, no, I am God. Something knows
Yeah.
I am God. And so it's practically telling you, you are God.
Yes.
I am God.
And that's what a lot of the mystical people that are on this earth, that they're doing a good job, because I think a lot more people are getting like awoken and awake to this, but they're saying, don't literally interpret any of these stories, whether it be the Bible or whatever other like story or fable you're being told, a children's book. Don't literally look at them and take them literally. Look at the message behind it.
Right.
They're code. They're meant to be
It's
deciphered.
code.
They're meant to be deciphered. It's meant to be unpacked, and there's literal and figurative meaning to it all. And it's genius how it was all put together.
Well, and anything that we have, our government, any of the societies, any of the structures, organization, you have code.
Yeah.
And what do you think logos are?
I was just going to say, like, all right, if we create a logo, it has a meaning behind it. If you've ever created a logo, there's meaning behind it, right? And nobody may know what that meaning is, but you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And you
anybody who sees it, who knows, or you're using
Absolutely.
it, it's a message to them, like I'm on your team or whatever it is.
So you have these correlations, and you go into the deep conspiracy stuff where there's like,
We should do a whole conspiracy.
We
There's
should.
flags behind the like presidents that they have, and people don't. I mean, this
Roman
is,
Empire and all sorts of Vatican power.
I
and-
mean, whether or not you believe it, whether or not it's true, it's very interesting. We all speak in codes. We all speak in symbols.
And there's something to say that, okay, something doesn't smell right, doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, then it's probably, or if it looks like a clown, it acts like a clown, and it's honking like a clown, probably is. And that's where I see this whole control mechanism that is from schooling to prisons to health to finances. They all are intertwined. It's kind of like, I've heard this about lawyers and attorneys. where it's like
this is gonna be good.
they're all in the game together. So like divorce lawyers, for instance, they are paid to keep this thing going. They're not paid to solve this, right? You're paid for an outcome.
Yeah.
You're paid for an outcome. It's like you're not paid to prolong this process.
So we never did. We went to trial quick.
Got this done, and you do the same thing with estate planning too.
Paid monthly. Imagine what an attorney would do to prolong.
And that's what they're doing. And guess what? You're feeding off of people's safety issues when you're going through a divorce.
It's a parasitic energy.
I no offense to any divorce lawyers that are out there listening to this, but it's like it's very sad because you have to.
They'll admit it.
And even business lawyers. So like when you're dealing with, when I was selling my company, you give them a retainer, you have to deal with this back and forth of like, well, it's like your baby. So, or a house, a lawyer, like a realtor, they can make more money based on like playing people against their emotions, right? So that's why they say when you sell a house, don't be emotionally attached to it. Or if you're buying a house, don't be emotionally attached because you might end up spending way more money than you should because you all of a sudden got attached to this house. You could see yourself raising your family and there's millions of other houses out there. Or you can make your house perfect, whatever you find. So it's like all these things they feed off of. Sorry, you got me on a subject of. I'm very passionate about it. It's because it's feeding off people's bad feelings. It's that negative energy.
The point to not be in the state of lack in any profession that you're in that you'll prey on people.
Yeah.
So let's not be in that state. Let's help people with a reasonable price, but know our value and not be taken advantage of either. So it's all like a balance and energy of give and take and giving value and paying someone value. And that's it. Instead of taking advantage and feeling lack and feeling like you should state what you're doing or overwork or even charge more or prolong something.
There's when you start paying for people's expertise or guidance or solution or for a service or anything like that, we've all been burned. And that's where that creates that reluctancy to invest into something else that may be in the field of health or in finance or whatever it may be. These, I got to get out of this situation scenarios are a little different, DUI or whatever it may be, but
because they're high stress and they need to pay someone, but it's still energy that we need to, like when we're hiring someone, you better believe that he's going to help you and you're going to give him whatever money you're going to pay and believe in that.
Yes.
If you're not, don't give them the damn money because you're
actually going to negatively impact the situation.
And so I would rather you're not hiring me if you can't believe in me because you had a bad experience over here.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep. And I think if you look at why you had the bad experience, was it really the experience with the person or the service that you were getting? Maybe. But there's also all these other things that you're bringing along. I can liken it to like I had this terrible kitchen project. We had remodeled our kitchen. Okay. And it was like I had all these beautiful things that I wanted to do. I had saved a ton of money so that I could have this perfect kitchen. And I didn't do my due diligence on the kitchen person because it was a friend of a friend. And so I just walked blindly into it. And I was like, all right, whatever, this is going to be perfect. No, it was a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And it was not because of the person I hired. Well, because some of it was, but it was also some of me.
You had the power. I
had the power and I gave that away. Yeah. And so now what did it teach me? Like there's certain things you need to learn, like about protecting your energy, doing your due diligence, making sure that everything aligns and not just like blindly walking into something.
Right.
But to add to your point, I had a client who he was getting his basement remodeled and he was looking at a general contractor who was maybe half the price of another guy who does basements and does them thoroughly and it was on point. And he went with the guy who was more like half the price.
Yeah.
And my client had to supervise the general contractor and look into everything because he didn't trust the guy and he wasn't doing the things right and he was giving him
and so it
cost him more. It cost him more. Yeah, exactly. I've done both scenarios where I'm like I've paid somebody for what they're asking. They're asking a high ticket for it, and I've like gotten what I needed out of it. Like I told you,
I could do the flip where I paid someone very small amount for a good service.
Yeah.
So it's all mindset. It's all intention. Like my husband will say, this is going to cost this much. I'm like, why do you got to say that? Because I know it doesn't have to cost that much because I know how it works, right? So, and I know that I can attract a good worker for a lower fee, but it's just all everyone's perception, intention, and what can you get and what you will receive because you believe.
That's right.
So the scarcity versus prosperous mindset. And it's like if you invest into it, Hormozy said this really well. He's like, I paid for coaching and got like, I came in, I don't care if it was good or bad. I'm going to get something out of it. Like that's his intentions behind it. Like just, you're going to learn what not to do.
Yeah.
You're going to learn what to do. You're going to learn it's either way, you're going to get something out of it. Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I think that does it for this one. We will come back around and keep this going because we have a lot to talk about. And this has been an amazing conversation. And we'll make sure that we are not on death row next time we talk to you.
Yes. All thanks to our criminal defense turned estate lawyer, Michelle Gonzalez-Tyler.
Love it. Thank you.
All right.